Hello, everybody, and welcome to Aurorum Regicide, episode 0. And this time we are doing Tyler's character. What's up, Tyler?
What's up, Scott?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
I know you were really excited to build this character. I know you're really excited to play this character.
I
So,
am.
I mean,
I'm very excited. It's definitely a different take, and I'm deepening my knowledge into D&D.
I think the one thing you said when we built your first character was, let's try to keep it easy. You know, it's your first time playing, and this time you're like, I'll do anything but a spellcaster. Like anything but a spellcaster. And then we start building your character, and you're like, so what about that spellcaster class? Oh, it's so funny. But hey, listen, if I had to guess, because everybody can, of course, see Blade Lock's written under your name. If I had to guess, Warlock is probably the easiest one to get into spellcasting with in 5e, because like it's limited spells comparatively, so you don't have to go like nuts with it. So, nice.
Yeah,
I think you like your selection and everything too, so.
I do, and I did a lot of background, but I don't have it with me because, as you can see, I'm not currently in my normal space. So,
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. We're gonna judge you, but that's okay. So we're gonna have you describe your character after we get to know them. So more or less, like we're gonna start with describing the scenario, where you are, etc., etc. And then like as we're getting into it, then you'll kind of get an opportunity to describe your character as they're kind of like interacting with someone else. So not right off the bat. I'll kind of like trigger it. You know what I mean? Cool.
hmm
Don't get triggered. All right.
I'll try not to.
All right. Any questions? Are you ready to get this shit rolling?
I'm ready to get going. I'm actually nervous. I'm gonna probably screw up the voice at the very beginning. My voice is gonna crack, and then I'll just have to make my voice crack constantly for the rest of the time playing.
Well, honestly, I think I've told you this before, but maybe a while ago. One of the reasons why I like doing episode 0, one of the reasons why think it's so important is because it gives you an opportunity to, you're so squeaky, gives you an opportunity to get familiar with your character, your concept, and how it is that you want to role play them without having other people's characters and concepts of role playing kind of like altering the course of yours. So you kind of like
Yeah.
solidify your own mind, which is nice. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if your voice stays the same from now until the end of time, or if it evolves 8 times between now and next week. So,
Yeah.
all right. So awesome. Let's I suppose get this started. So your character's name, which is Ophios, your character Ophios is going to start off inside of a cave. Of course, you're inside the cave that you were born into. It's very familiar, the area. You've spent the past considerable amount of time, your entire life literally, inside of this cave, or just barely outside of its entrance, hunting, trying to find food, training, practicing with your sword, your combat style, learning languages, testing your language and creatures that you've caught and were forced to converse with and learn information about the world with, before, of course, consuming them because they're literally food. All the while, everything you've done has always been under the watchful eye. Even those times where you thought that you were able to, I don't know, slither away and get an opportunity to explore the world on your own, you later on discovered, no, you were in fact being watched by someone who's either further along in the training or by your instructor themselves. Always keeping an eye to make sure that you learned your lessons, learned them through, and did not make mistakes. Any mistakes that you did make were almost plans that you would make those mistakes, and you learn that later on. Whereas some people might find this infinitely infuriating, always being watched after, always having someone else to guide the course that you go down. You weren't infuriated by it. You understood. You appreciated the lessons that you were learning along the way. Wax on, wax off. Just don't wax off in front of others. So when you this day, when you're inside the cave that you were raised in, and kind of making your way around the small, kind of like divoted area where the other younger ones would be sitting there and beginning their own, just having been birthed, and not just having been birthed, but probably like being almost 2 years old, where it's easier for them to kind of get their food and everything. You're actually meeting with your instructor themselves. You know that today is an important day. It was only a few days ago that you finally participated in the ritual. You finally had the binding happening between you and the other world. And in that binding, you felt power come to you, true power. The power is new to you, but you already feel as though you've mastered it. Mastered in every way, every waking moment spelt practicing and training, with the others, training, showing your superiority amongst even your peers. But never testing it against the others, the food that exists in the world, and certainly not against them. So you're meeting with your master today, the one who has trained you your entire life, and you make your way up to him, the master that you know of as Ka. When you meet with Ka, they look to you, and they give you that cold look. It's heartless, but you know there's a bit of pride inside of it. You've risen above many others that you were born with. You've risen above many others that you've trained with. The number that have died since the initial birthing, the number that have died by your hand, by your blade, outnumbers others of your group. Out of all the ones that have birthed with you, out of all 50 or so that were birthed with you, there literally remains 4, including yourself. And for the task that you're going on, there are 2 of you that are going on this task. The other 2, they have their own job they're supposed to go on. It's important to note that of the 4 of you that remains, you're all similar looking. I mean, obviously you have your own unique features, so on and so forth, but there's so many unique types amongst you. There's just one that stands out as being a bit different, below the torso, but the rest of you look very similar. Anyways, you make your way up to Ka, and they speak with you. Yes. I see that you are more than willing to take on this task, Ophios.
Of course. This task was the one that I anticipated.
The other 2, they will be traveling south. They have their own task there, for it's believed that they will be finding the one that was coordinating all of this. They will be attacking that target. Yours, however, is a little different. You see, your targets, while residing in that community, they have separated themselves temporarily, gone on a bit of a voyage. It's been coordinated that their voyage will be interrupted. A tree is set to fall in path of their wagon. You will intercept. It is the girl that you want. She must die. The others are dirty, but not targets. Kill if possible, but it's not necessary. As always, try not to be seen except by those that you kill. But the rising is happening soon enough. If a few more rumors make their way out, that's not so bad. Not so bad at all.
Yes, but I would prefer, as you know, that none of us are known or seen. It makes for easier praise.
Well, you have your task. You will set out immediately. Meet with your partner. She will be working with you. Understands? She can be a bit infuriating, but she's very good at what she trains at. Trust her and her skills.
I will trust in the skills, but that is all I will trust in.
So when you your farewell, it's a very formal farewell between the 2 of you, which of course you bowing your head very low compared to this person of higher stature to you. You then make your way out of the cave. Getting out of the cave can be a little uncomfortable for someone who is not accustomed to moving in such fashions as you do, because the entrance of the cave itself is actually a little small. But even though you're kind of a broad person, you can kind of like get low and work your way, kind of like writhe your way, grabbing your hands out and using your like kind of digging your toes in just right to kind of like push and pull your way out of this cave entrance. Again, you've lived your whole life here, and that's many years' time in your mind. You've lived your whole life here and have really mastered this kind of like movement and getting in and out. Sorry, I was checking something. You make your way outside of the cave, and there she is already waiting for you. I mean, it's not bad. It's bad enough that, of course, amongst all the others here, she is the most stunning of them. Of course, obviously you find her attractive. She would be a very capable mate, and one that would, of course, give off other offspring that would be able to most likely be very successful in their own tasks, right? Of course, always pushing forward the cause. It's not just that, but it's also just her mastery of the tongue is infuriating. It's not the fact that she is very capable. It's how she almost speaks down upon those that haven't mastered it quite as well as she has. You step out of the cave and start walking up to her. As you approach her, she looks to you and says, "Ophius, how about time you made your way out here?" She sounds like one of them. It's strange, but you understand. Sasha then looks to you and says, "Are you ready, or shall we wait until sunset for you?"
Let's go.
Please, try not to drag them too hard. It's infuriating. And then she turns and starts walking immediately off into the direction. Both of you know your path. Both of you know the plan. You've both been instructed of it over the course of the past few days. But of course, immediately she has to walk in, a step ahead of you, leading the path. She knows she's been groomed very well to be someone who has the ability to manipulate the others, to bend the ear of the soft-skinned people that exist in this world, but most importantly, to find her targets and, unbeknownst to them, get close to them before, of course, striking and laying them low. Illusions only go so far. They may be able to mask the way that you look, but not necessarily the way that you sound, which is why she's been groomed to be so charismatic. The fact that she thinks that she leads is where the infuriation comes from. Either way, she takes a step ahead of you and starts walking in that path. Do you just kind of like walk in tow behind her? Do you try to like keep pace side by side, or do you instead try to almost rival and take the lead?
Ophios would stay back and subtly whisper to himself, "It's always best to approach from the rears. Such an easy targets."
You can see her head twitch in a way that shows she understands what you're saying, but it's like, "I'm gonna not respond," and the two of you start making your way off. You already knew where where it was that you were journeying to. It was literally about a 6-hour hump from where you're coming from. It's not a slow travel for you either. The idea is for you to focus and to force yourself to get there quicker. The road that they're taking with their wagon is more roundabout. You're taking a direct path. The word that they were traveling came from the south. The word came to you very quickly. Very likely there's a bit of magic behind it, but you're not entirely sure. That doesn't matter. Came to you quickly, so you're already starting ahead of where they are. But they are in a wagon being drawn by those large beasts. Too large to eat, so you don't generally do. Being drawn by those large beasts. Horses is what you've been told they're called. So that you have to do everything in your power to cut them off. I need you to do me a favor. Roll me an athletics check. And so your characters try to hump and get as quickly as they can. She's not just groomed for speech; she's also groomed to be very athletic as well. She easily is staying ahead of you, and certainly not kind of like lagging behind for you to catch up. She has her job; you have yours, and she's not going to be late because of you. Her rushing ahead as fast as she is almost like forcing you to like push yourself harder. So she's always in sight, but certainly it's difficult to try to catch up to her. At points in time, you get close, but then, oh, goddamn it, she pulls away again. Anyways, after the 6 hours travel, you are a little bit winded. There's no getting around that. How winded you might be, though, I'm going to have you make me a Constitution save. She's like, why you hit me so hard so early on? Ooh! She may be faster than you, but you all that time she spent sitting there with pronunciation, speaking the words, learning those languages, that was time that you spent training. You're a warrior. She's a talker. She may be quick because of the type of athletic and just her sheer physical build, but you're actually have a strong fortitude. You catch up. You're slightly winded. She's panting. That could actually be a mark against her because she needs to be able to speak clearly. You guys can see it up ahead. The tree is literally in the middle of falling. You see up ahead of where you are, about 200 yards, slightly to your right. And then you see about 500 yards and a sharp turn to your left, 90 degrees to your left. You see the wagon making its way forward. As the thing creaks and hits a bang, you can hear that the wagon slows down about 400 yards from where the tree is and comes to a stop. People come out of the wagon. They start speaking to one another. You're a good distance away. She taps you on your shoulder. A bit sharp of a tap, maybe more aggressive than she needed to, and then starts slinking her way forward. Keeping low, you're a good distance, so sound you're not too worried about, and sight probably not that either. You've traveled for so long, the sun is now setting into the horizon. It's not dark, but it's the beginnings of dusk. Making her way forward. You start making your way forward too. Over by the caravan, where you're watching, you can see the people are conversing further. Roll me a perception check, sir. So you are very perceptive. So you are actually doing your making your way, slinking your way forward for towards the thing. And what you eventually see, it's not actually immediate that you see the people moving. It's actually around when they finally get to the tree that you realize, and you honestly think it's the same for her as well. It's probably actually you that notices before she does, where you see that 2 of the people that were with the wagon are way up over by the tree, kind of like looking around, checking out the wagon, like, where are those people? Where are they? Because you've been slinking along. I don't see them slinking along. I don't see them. Finally, you're within, like, say, 50 yards of where the caravan is, and that's when you see way off to the side. Oh, they're over there checking out the tree, now conversing over there. So 2 of them are removed from the caravan, from the wagon. Sorry. You can see the person that's drawing the wagon, the driver, is still sitting up inside of his seat. However, they're no fool. They're sitting up in their seat and they have a crossbow at the ready. Not just one. You can see at the seat beside them, they have a lighter crossbow at the seat beside them, but also mounted on top of the wagon itself is a heavier crossbow. Literally a mounted heavy crossbow. And so they're kind of like looking about, making sure that nothing's happening with the crossbow in their hands. It looks like it can do a 360 pivot, but would be a little awkward to try to get up and get some angles. You think if you attacked from straight on, it'd be much more difficult than if you attacked from the behind or the back for that person to shoot you. Anyways, and then you see inside the wagon, you see movement because they do have a light now lit inside there because the dusk is settling in a little bit more as you traveled up. That there's movement inside the wagon. You can't tell how many people. 1, 3, you're not sure.
Nice. Looks as if we have more of a challenge than we had anticipated.
Well, it's very likely that they've gone ahead to inspect the sounds. Those in charge of dropping the tree did so a little late. Warns them. The tree was supposed to fall immediately in front of them. And look like an accident. They instead warns them that it was happening ahead of them. I need to distract them. You know your job?
Nice.
Can you get around the other side of the wagon? As soon as I start calling, they'll assume it's an ambush. They'll investigate, but they'll be leery.
I see. First, we must take out these crossbows.
I'm looking to distract the crossbow. I will call them. I will warn them. I'll get them looking in my direction. If he's your first target, then attack him first while he's distracted.
Nice. Ophios heads on his way.
Yep. So I'm going to need you to make me a stealth check at this point to get to the other side of the wagon, across the way. And finally does well. So you both start slinking forward, her much slower in a different angle than you. You much faster and kind of like around to go behind the wagon where the line of sight is worse, and to like make your way into like the bushes that are over there. Staying low, keeping slow, so on and so forth. Obviously, I imagine you would like to have your weapons with you at all times, so you know that you have to stay exactly as you are. And so
And I would.
Yep. So you kind of get low, go slow, and start making your way around to the back of the wagon. And you do well. At one point in time, somebody does, you do hear inside the wagon, someone say, "Did you see that?" "What?" I swear I saw something out there." "I didn't see anything." "Maybe it was, Clarence, did you see anything out there?" No, and I'm keeping a good eye, don't worry. They should be rejoining us soon with whatever that was. They'll inform us. Sorry, it must have been a trick. That's kind of like you hiding behind the wagon for a second and then making your way back around the other side. You can stay underneath or behind or whatever the wagon if you'd like, or you can literally try to hit the brush on the far side of it. Where do you think is the better spot for you to stay?
You've got 2 in front, 1 on the wagon, and seemingly 3 in the back of the wagon.
Yeah, 1 to 3, but you just heard 2 voices in there, so 2 or 3 in the back of the wagon. The 2 in front, by the way, are a good distance away. We're talking good distance.
Does the guy on the crossbow see them?
He might be able to see them. You don't know.
Okay.
They're a good distance.
He would stay relatively close to the wagon. Not go so far as to the bushes, but stay in the darkness under and to the side.
Okay, so stay close to the wagon.
Yeah, he wants to stay close to be able to use his weapon.
All of a sudden you hear, and this is in a, God, you think it's like a near perfect accent of theirs. You hear, warning! Is bandits ahead? Hello? Warning, is bandits ahead? I mean, it's one of those things where you're sitting there thinking to yourself, morons, these pinkies. They're so stupid. They're so soft skins. They're so dumb to believe such a lame trick. You would never be so dumb as to be tricked by this thing. And then you hear inside the wagon, did they say there's a bandits up ahead? Yes, that sound. It must have been a tree falling. She must be one of the bandits. Clarence, on it. And you see that the guy with the crossbow literally is like getting off of the wagon, but bringing his light crossbow with him as it gets off of the wagon, and starts making his way over towards the bushes, and starts making his way into the brush over there. Please, no! Oh, I see you. I'm right, and you can literally kind of like looking in that direction, see her arm raised up in the air. I'm over here. Oh, God. Hold on. And she starts trying to get up, and you can see, like, as she's getting up, like, she's getting up in kind of like a wonky way. Her head's still, like, buried into the ground. Her ass is in the air. And she's kind of like, and then she kind of like tumbles back down to the ground. She looks like she's drunk. You know what I mean? But certainly not standing straight up or anything like that. Her head is always seemingly buried into the ground. What do you do?
What do I see the other 2 up ahead? Are they approaching her as well?
Make me a perception check. It's a really good perception check. You can see down the way, because of the way that the light's hitting just well enough, you can see way down there that they are in fact heading back this way, but they're still easily a good 2 football fields away.
All right.
200 yards away.
Ophios is going to cast his Hexblade's Curse on the one with the light crossbow.
So the one that's way over across the way?
The how far away is
My
he from?
apologies. My apologies. The one that's walking away from the wagon over towards your companion.
Correct. Whose back is to me because I'm on the other side of the wagon towards where they would be walking.
Absolutely. So all of a sudden you sit there and Hexblade's Curse, I believe, is a bonus action.
Correct.
Sure. So you grab a bonus action and you throw that onto the target. Go ahead.
And then I'm also going to. How close are they?
From where you are, because you just hopped off and started walking, and because of, like, you being around the wagon a little bit, about 15 feet, maybe 20.
All right. I'm going to drop Hexblade's Curse in there. And you said 15, 20 feet, right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Um, let's see. Do I want to? Yeah. Um, since he's that far away, he's just gonna go ahead and Eldritch Blast him.
Just gonna randomly throw out like a awesome,
Yeah.
sexy. Do it.
Oh, you got to be kidding me! I had a 15.
Oh, then there's no extra modifiers that apply to this. So a 12. Unfortunately, a 12 is very low. Let me just double check that really quickly. I don't know why I didn't have this up. Probably because I'm a shitty human being.
And I'm gonna click Eldritch Blast.
There we go. So, AC of 12 actually is a hit. Yep,
All right.
AC of 12 is actually a hit.
So it'll do this.
3 plus, and because of your
Plus this.
Hexblade's Curse, choose target within 30 feet. Da, 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 da. You deal an additional 3 points of damage. Oh, you actually have that there. Ha! Cool, thank you. So you do 5 points of damage to the target. So 5 points is not enough to drop the target. But you do, like, all of a sudden you step out of nowhere and boom, hit the creature. I want you to do me a favor. Describe your Eldritch Blast as you step around the corner.
It's kind of more of a dark energy. It has a slight glow, very very minimal, but it's more kind of a dark turquoise that shoots out from the actual source crystal itself that is on around and almost it looks as if it's embedded in my chest, but it is not. It's on a pendant, and it just kind of shoots and emanates from that.
Nice.
Straight towards the perpetrator.
Since you mentioned a crystal, can you do me a favor and what color is the crystal?
The crystal is to the naked eye it looks black,
Gotcha.
but upon closer examination it actually has a bunch of different colors within it.
Okay, cool. So it's just kind of like from a distance it looks black.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then we will say it's now time for you to click your token and press the initiative button, sir.
All right. Boop. Kadoosh.
Oh no.
Oh.
Do you remember what the rule is about that? Oh, would you like to remind everybody the rule about that?
I lose my first turn. With an
your action. Yeah, you lose the action. You still have your bonus and shit too, but that's rough. I'm sorry, man. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna apply my different peoples on here. I got all my initiatives locked in. Don't worry, not all these are like it's not like, oh, I'm gonna die. This is just so I can keep track of things. So all of a sudden you go shadoosh and you hit the person. Immediately once you hit the person, the guy's like, help! Yeah, immediately starts like yelling for help. Ambush! And then immediately afterwards, you hear inside the wagon itself, you hear, oh shit, sit back, hold on, pull that lever. And so it's, what? Pull that lever. And you hear like a lever get pulled on one side and then the other side of the wagon, and you literally see like little like wooden plates, nothing crazy, but you see literally wooden plates with like almost like a steel reinforcement, covers up the windows to the wagon. And then the door to the wagon itself, you can hear like a latch lock up the wagon, making it so this wagon is going to be a lot more difficult for you to get into. Immediately after that happens, You then have your companion over in the bushes. Um, uh, you hadn't seen them because, like I said, they tumbled back over again. And then all of a sudden, you see out of nowhere a large snake. I don't know, out of nowhere, a large snake just comes up and wraps around the guy's leg. Starts slithering up the one that you just blasted, wraps around his leg, and this bites into the guy's crotch. Right into like his upper inner thigh area. And then like squeezes so hard around his leg. He's like and like falls to the ground and starts like writhing in pain as his leg is being crushed, and he's like with the various like bites of the fangs and whatnot happening there. He's going down. Across the way, oh man, you rolled so poorly. I'm so sorry, buddy. Then from across the way, you actually hear, because people are like shouting, but it's like way off. I mean, people shouting 2 football fields away is, oh, you can barely hear it. But looking that direction quickly, you can see they're starting to run to get there. We're running. We'll be there, buddy. Wait up. But I mean, 600 feet. That's a long. Like you got time for days. So after that, we're gonna keep track of how many feet they've moved so far. So they've moved. What double move is 60, right? So they've moved 60 feet. Cool. Then they are after that is going to be your turn. Now you don't have a standard action or an action. You still have, of course, your move and your bonus.
All right. Well, my bonus, the only bonus action I have is Hexblade's Curse.
No, you also have the spell Hex.
Oh, is that a bonus action?
Correct.
Let me click on that. Oh, wait. Input value, level 1.
I almost wonder if you meant to cast Hex instead of Hexblade's Curse for that first attack.
I did not. I want to do Hexblade's Curse, and then I was going to do Eldritch Blast anyway.
Oh, okay.
Because it gives me the higher chance on crit, plus when they do die, I get hit points from them.
Yeah. Okay, I gotcha. But
so,
you cast Hex. Cool. And who you cast Hex on?
I mean, I'll cast it on the same guy I hit.
Okay, cool.
Because the other guys aren't in range. It's 90 feet.
Correct. They're not in range yet. Exactly. And then you want to do what? Do you want it with your move? Do you want to move to a specific spot?
He would honestly move onto the wagon. Almost in a position to where he's on the wagon. Would he be? His action would require him to be able to move the actual wagon itself, right?
Correct.
Okay, so he can't move the wagon, but he'd get in position, stay hidden, so he's ready to basically try and make the wagon move with beasts that he has no whereabout, no knowledge, real experience with.
Gotcha. Okay, so then the after that.
I roll my Hex though.
Oh, it only does damage if you hit somebody.
Oh, and I'm not allowed to hit somebody.
Correct. But you can still change it to a different person at a later time, and so on and so forth. So, all right, if that guy's still alive. So that guy is still alive currently. And he's literally...
he has disadvantage on ability checks with chosen ability.
Do you want to do strength?
Yeah, I was going to do strength.
So on his turn, he's going to literally just trying to be beating, like kicking the snake and trying to beat it off of him. Like, get off! Now that he's rolling with disadvantage, that's going to have an impact on the way that the results go. So, 1 second. Roll with disadvantage. I went from what could have been a 19 to a 10. So disadvantage certainly mattered there. And so he's trying to beat off the snake, but unfortunately it's not releasing. It's got him by the groin. So he's unfortunately stuck there. That brings us to the top of initiative. When something strange happens, you hear... roll me a perception check, actually. Nice. You're going to hear a lot more than I would have expected. You hear inside the wagon a bit of a strange chant. You think for a second. You know that language. You know what they're speaking. You found your target. This is one of them. This is that language. You're chanting in that language, and you hear the other person inside the wagon, the male inside the wagon, go, "What do you do? What the?" And all of a sudden, the wagon itself. So you have the horses drawing the wagon forward. You have the wagon facing forward. If they continue to go forward, there's going to be a tree in their way. The wagon itself all of a sudden kind of like folds into itself, like it squishes, like it's folding into itself, and then kind of unfolds the other direction. Almost like if you were to take like an image and you were to grab like a corner and you were to drag it across itself, and all of a sudden the image is facing the opposite direction. You literally feel like you feel yourself just kind of like you're facing forward. Then all of a sudden you're still facing forward, but you and the wagon and everything is now looking that way. You're like, whoa! It is one of the freakiest fucking things you've ever experienced. It's literally like throws you off because of how weird that was. And then you can literally see that like this small like whip like thing that's almost like it's attached inside of the wagon. It's like smacks out almost like a mechanical thing or something. You're not entirely sure how it works right now. Was used to make a whip sound right next to the horse. The horse and starts to move forward slowly at first. It's now your friend's turn.
I got on the wagon.
It's now your friend's turn, and your friend. The person stops writhing. That brings us to the other's turns. They continue running. Oop. You know what I'm saying. 120 feet out of 600. Okay. That's their turn. We'll get you! After that is going to be Ophios.
Well, Ophios is on the wagon, and he'll be like, he thinks he's extremely lucky because if he hadn't gotten on the wagon, he might have not been able to keep tabs on the essential target. What can I do? Instinctually, he's gonna cast Armor of Agathis.
Okay. Oh, you only have one spell, a short rest right now?
Oh, yeah. I can't do that?
Correct. You did get a hex, so yeah. But your target for a hex is dead. If you can see one of the targets inside the wagon, you can move it to them.
I don't think I can.
You rolled a 22 perception check. I would actually say that through the little grates on that, because you rolled a 22 perception check, through the little grates inside there, you can look and you can see the female and the male inside the wagon.
All right. I will go ahead and hex the female.
Okay. So that's your bonus. You still have your standard and your movement.
And I will give them... I got to figure out what disadvantage I want to give them. Can I do wisdom?
Sure. Remember, it's not saves, it's skills, but yes.
Let's see. What skill do I want to use? Yeah, it's just wisdom skills. Yeah. I picked that because of perception primarily.
Okay.
And with his action, he's going to try and actually steer the wagon off course.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to grab the reins and try and take them into... is there any sort of ditch off to the side? Or
Abso-fucking-lutely. Yep.
He's going to try and steer it into a ditch.
Yep. That's going to be an animal handling check, sir.
All right. Darn it. Wish they were snakes.
Why is that? Oh! That was a sexy roll! So you got to kind of like make your way climbing up to the front of the wagon from where it was you had climbed on from beforehand. And the things were going slow at first and then faster. And you're like, no, let's go faster, sure. Look at you guys, you're doing such a good job back there. Going faster. Oop! The thing ends up crashing into a ditch. The horse gets the thing crashes into a ditch and then ends up knocking it sideways, throwing them onto their side. The horse himself gets thrown onto its side because the parts that are holding onto the chains and the wood just like overbalance the thing. The horse is now on its side and like kicking its legs and freaking out and trying to pull up and get away, but in doing so it's just jerking the whole wagon. You yourself have to make a dexterity save.
Do I get advantage because I knew it was going to happen?
Also, yes. Never hurts to ask, folks. So make me just one more check, no advantage, acrobatics check. Okay, so not only because you knew it was happening, you planned for it, you literally saw it, and you kind of like brace yourself. You literally, as it hits and as it's going, you kind of like jump with it to like launch yourself, and you land on the other side, kind of like tucking and rolling with the actual thing. So you end up landing on your feet and standing up. It's not clean. It wasn't like the cleanest carport that you've done, but certainly wasn't bad. And so you end up standing up and looking back at this wagon mess that's near you. The people, you didn't move very far from where you were, but the people behind still running to catch up.
Which it's now further away.
Mm-hmm. After that is going to be the people inside's turn.
Quick question:
shoot.
Is the person that I had put my curse on dead?
Yes, that's why you had moved this one over. Oh,
So
not the person you put on in this wagon.
The Hexblade curse.
They did die, yes.
That means I get 3 temporary HP.
Okay. Cool. And so you go over to the wagon. So the wagon itself is sitting there. And then that's when, because it's all capsized and stuff like that, obviously they can't stay inside there. So the wagon, all of a sudden you hear and the wagon top opens up, and you can see that there is a male Perrin that's like slowly trying to like climb his way out of the wagon, and then he's reaching down and he's trying to pull somebody else out of the wagon as well. He reaches down and he starts pulling the female out of the wagon, and as he's pulling her out, he looks up. That's when he sees you, and he kind of like, but she doesn't notice you at all because she has disadvantage on her perception checks because of your curse on her. So she and you go. What is it? He's pulling her up, and he's like, "Excuse me. By the way, I right to say the reason why your acrobatics check mattered is because it made it so you didn't have to make a concentration check because you landed gracefully and it didn't disrupt your concentration. Sorry, just to make sure we stated that. So he pulls her up, but like notices you as he's pulling her up. She doesn't notice you, and she spends her entire turn effectively getting out of the wagon and balancing herself. That's her turn. It's your friend's turn. They finished, controlling the snake or doing whatever they're doing over there. And you don't see them quite just yet, so their turn doesn't matter yet. And then it's the boyos' turn. They're still running their way at you. That brings it to your turn. The wagon itself is about 20 feet away. They're on top of the wagon, so the wagon itself is also rough terrain. The wagon is also being jerked and pulled as the horse is still freaking out trying to break away from it because it has the chains pulling it down and probably broke a couple of its ribs or whatever. And it's your turn. You have the curse on her.
I'm going to keep the curse on her. And, darn it, I only get one of the Hexblade curses per short or long rest. I'm going to go ahead and make my way, trying to stay out of her line of sight, but not caring about whether he sees me, to try and approach and attack with my weapon.
Okay. So you do exactly that. You roll a stealth check, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're making your way, sneaking up, trying to get there as quietly as you can. Now, obviously, your stealth check isn't... The DC is very high. Like, you're taking a huge penalty because you're trying to also be able to attack this round, right? You're not trying to just spend your turn doing this. So you try to stealth up, and he definitely noticed you. He's like, what in the hells is that? He says as you're kind of like slinking your way up from the shadows and making your way towards it. And they turn around like, what? Trying to like see what it is. By the time they look up to see what's there, it's too late. You're already before them. You already have your weapon at the ready. You're rushing out to attack. Tyler, before you roll your attack roll, can you describe what the hell it is that they see attacking them?
They see a human figure, rather muscular but lean and strong. Not super strong. He's not like a super built form. He's toned. He's been training his entire life, but he hasn't been training in the sense of being purely strong. Um, and out of the darkness, they see a snake. A snake is his head, and it's not just any snake. It looks like a really rough scaled bush viper, turquoise and yellow with black on the top and huge eyes. Um, it's kind of short snouted, but that his neck and the snake head, it just forms, and the scales on the top of his shoulders, and he's wearing a cloak of sorts that cover his torso and his legs. Almost looks uh like you would see on the streets, just somebody normally walking around on the streets, but a little profound and completely strucken with the fact that he's got a head that is a snake's head, as it blends into his human form and his human skin, which looks relatively normal to anybody else. It's just the head that really stands out.
This horrifying image comes slithering up towards them on legs and has the weapon drawn. What do you attack with, sir?
It's a one hand. He's got his shield out, so it's a one hand with his nice, sweet, wonderful, beautiful sword.
And with that 18, you definitely hit her.
Oh, I was hitting him.
Oh, you aren't going for the one you had to curse on?
No,
Okay, you can transition your curse to him as your bonus action.
I mean it's a regular hex. It's not Hexblade's curse, so I don't get the bonus.
Well, you get bonus damage when you hit somebody with hex.
Well, the Hexblade's curse is one per short or long rest.
No,
If
no,
you scroll up, read it.
no, I know. But if you have hex on somebody and you attack the person that you have hex on, you do additional 1d6 damage every time you hit them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's like the huge perk of that one.
Okay, then yeah, I would have switched the hex. I didn't think of that.
There you go.
So he's muttering to himself, ice, 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 to transfer the hex, and go ahead and attacks with the falchion. And I guess I can do the hex damage then as well.
Yep.
Right?
So regular damage.
All right. So regular damage first.
Okay. A minimum, of course. It would only be awesome if you rolled maximum. Well. Oh, okay. I see why. Gotcha. And snake eyes. That's funny. That's just on a crit. It would double it. Gotcha.
Yep.
Um.
So I do 5 damage.
So you go slither up towards it, but this person's not a combatant, right? So you go slither up towards this person, and you sling, and you kill the person. Now, what would have made logical sense? It doesn't matter. So you slither up and you kill this person. Of course, as you transfer the hex over, she of course sees you now because you literally and she's like, oh, as you come up and just kill the guy, right? Describe how it is you attack with the weapon. Describe how it is you kill him as you're literally hopping up and running up this knocked over wagon.
It's a fine. It's an interesting weapon. It's built like a longsword, but it's curved in blade matter. And in the slashing motion, as he climbs up, he slices upwards, and kind of towards the girl, but not so much as to if it went through his body, he would hit her. It's more up from the armpit through to the opposite side of the neck.
Gotcha. Cool. And so you do just that, hitting the 5 damage, and he falls. And falls to the ground. 5 points of damage is enough for a non-combatant. He falls. That leaves just you and her there. And then she stands there, staring at you, realizing what you are. She doesn't look surprised at what you are. She looks surprised at the fact that you are there. She looks like a regular Perrin to you, which is an attractive Perrin female, standing there, wears clothes and whatnot that shows you of her prestige, of how significant she is. So anyways, she looks at you and she says, in a tongue that you've trained in, but have never heard spoken from one such as her, I knew it would only be so long before you found our location. Rest assured, you die here and now. And then she starts casting a spell. The thing is, the spell she starts casting is nothing like You attempted to be trained in such things. Unfortunately, the magics that they learn, the magics that they learn are from their world, are from your world. But because they were from that world, they came here from it, they're able to bring that magic with them. You, unfortunately, were born here. So you, unfortunately, are stuck with the magics of this world. And you can't even begin to comprehend exactly what it is that she's trying to do. Like the folding of the wagon into itself in the opposite direction. You don't even understand what that means. It doesn't make sense to your magically trained mind. Either way, she starts incanting a spell and doing some sort of magic. And as she does so, you can literally see her entire body, all of the fancy clothes and everything she was wearing, are now completely replaced by some extremely beautiful, elegant looking metal. I mean, this is plate armor, but this plate armor is made out of some like highly polished, almost silver looking material. Despite the fact that it's clearly plate armor, it looks flexible. Like as she moves, either it has joints in places that you can't even see because of its craftsmanship, or the metal itself is made out of something flexible. Like it contours to her perfectly. And she just, with one small spell, summoned a type of metal you've never even heard of before, right onto her body. No problem. That's what she does with her turn. And then that's what she does at her turn, and she kind of like lowers herself into like a battle stance, and then she starts to like reach into her, like behind her, and pulls out a small dagger. Your friend's going. You kind of hear her calling something from behind. You can roll a perception check. Make no mistakes. This is your task. Finish the bitch, she says. And then she turns and starts running the other direction at the other two that are... they move up to 40. It is now your turn, sir.
Obviously, the other guy fell, so he transfers the hex over to her. This time, he's going to... he'll keep it on wisdom.
Okay.
And then go ahead and make his attack. Without even responding to her, just kind of glaring at her and kind of hisses. Just he goes for the strike.
Beautiful. I'm a dummy. I never changed the combat music earlier. Just did. Oh, it bounced off of that 14. And I think the way it looked on stream too is it looks like it bounced into your window and was like, nope. And like bounced out of like where your camera is. I want to say it's like your right hand bottom corner. Like right now. Yeah, it's like you know. Stupid die. So you go swing with the falchion, it does not work. It does not happen. This is when on her turn, because she's next. She takes that dagger that she had. It's a funny looking dagger. But she takes the thing, and as she's holding the dagger in her hand, she kind of like wipes her, so she kind of like rubs one hand around it in a strange way. And then like the way she kind of like goes over her knuckles, then reaches down and grabs the pommel. And it's almost like she pulls the pommel straight. But as she does so, the dagger seems to form out into a very strange looking long sword. The sword is nearly that of a claymore or a great sword in length. Like it is a long sword, but has like this almost impossible curve to it. And she's holding the sword in her hands, having summoned the thing, elongating a dagger, what looked like a dagger at least, into this massive sword. And then she stands there with the sword and gives you a smile and says, "Now's not the day." And then she like swings back and attacks you with the sword. Orpheus.
Come on, lower than a 17. Come on, lower than a 17.
Is it gonna work? Oh, I don't think I imported my API. That's why it's not working. Oops. Let's try that again. I have a pretty good modifier. I got a 9 total.
So it got the same as I did.
Hey, I rolled go. Oh yeah, I did. Hey, I should snip that. Just because it's funny.
So Ophios simply raises his shield and goes, "Doesn't seem it's your day either." And then, is it his turn?
Correct. Yes. Yes. Yes, it is his turn. Because they're off doing their own thing. The 2 NPCs.
All right, and he'll go ahead and strike at her.
Paste. Okay. Upload. That doesn't really matter. All right. So with your attack of 18 is a hit. Beautiful. Oh my God! So much better.
And then we've got this as well.
Jesus Christ! Could you have asked for a better attack? 15 points of damage? That's incredible. What a turnaround. All right, describe this attack, which is devastating but not killing.
He blocks, and he wants to keep her body intact. So he's going to strike at lower mass, just above the leg, reaching back as he can while pushing her sword up to reveal her lower half, and just slashes while he kind of like spins on one knee. So he kind of guts in because it's close hand-to-hand combat, and he kind of does a spin on the knee to get as much momentum as he can using his hips, and just slashes at her lower half.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. It is devastating. What it is that armor, it looks seamless, but you found one. You found a seam in there. Again, you've studied this stuff. You studied not this armor, but you've studied very specific attack motions and attack routines. And you followed just through the motions. Just go through the motions that you've trained so many times. And now you see why it had value. It found its way into something that looked like it was impenetrable. And it worked. Do me a favor. Roll me an investigation check for funsies.
Investigation.
Ah,
oh, come on!
20, 14, 4. How many times are you going to roll off a 14 into a 4, buddy?
I don't know.
Okay, and then the other two, they go again. So let's see. Last time it was 240, then it was 300, then it was 360. Okay. Now it's back to your turn, sir. Oh, wait. Did she go? Oh, she didn't go. I'm sorry. After you, she didn't go. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Then you. So she's going to attack at you again. And she makes her attack with her weapon. And she comes sliding up and trying to swing the attack. And swings total of a 14. Unfortunately, it was actually a miss again. This time what it is as she takes this huge-ass sword and she tries to swing at you. The problem is not that she's not good at fighting, not that you're that much superior to her, though you are trained specifically for fighting her, and she's just trained for fighting in general. It's the fact that there's still a horse trying not to die attached to the wagon and jerking at it. So as she does this blow that could have been devastating, if not lethal against you, all of a sudden her feet are pulled up from underneath her and she's kind of like thrown backwards. The sword ends up coming a little out wide and you're like, as the sword passes by your throat by like maybe 2 inches. Maybe 2 inches because she was thrown back and it bounced off so much. You are less affected by the horse because, let's be serious, it's behind you as opposed to in front of you, so you're not being thrown backwards, kind of being jerked forwards, which can be a momentum that you use. But also, you're kind of a creature that's a bit more grounded, a bit lower. Kind of like your stances tend to be a bit lower, and you tend to move and shift your weight constantly because of your nature. As I said, blah, 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 the other people did their stuff. It's your turn.
And he's gonna just strike again. It's cold-hearted, silent, just going after it.
Oh, damage. Beautiful.
And this damage.
Sexy. Wow. Your first attack against her was Garbo. Sorry, it was my apologies. Your first attack against him was 5 damage, but next one a miss, and then he did just 25 points of damage in 2 attacks. No critical hits. Beautiful. So I'll allow you to describe that kill, sir.
He would continue at the lower half, just going for those main areas where he had found the crease before. He'd stick to what he's good at, and he'd spin and just try and gash in there as much as he could, and surprisingly, it just cuts clean through. Not front to back, but just lacerated the entire front half of her lower torso, keeping the body intact, not getting to the spinal cord, but completely, utterly gutting her to the point to where she just falls to her knees and just face plants right in front of her.
Your character has the ability to be defensive. Your character has the ability to absorb blows with magics of this world and to return the favor in kind immediately as the strike makes connection. But you weren't concerned. You knew. You were trained for fighting creatures such as this, and their styles mean nothing to you. You came up against this creature without enhancing your defenses. Hell, you probably didn't even need your shield. But why not be? Let's not be too cocky. It is your first fight against them, and so there you are, fighting this creature, and they cannot land a single blow, and you just cut them down in 2 attacks, despite this otherworldly armor they seem to form. As she falls backwards, literally through the open doorway and into the wagon, onto the door on the other side below, her armor fades off of her, discorporeating into the ether or wherever the hell it came from. And her sword kind of clangs to the ground, rolls, and then lands into her belly, upside down, having been, top heavy, and landing into her on the ground below. There she lies, a dead Perrin.
Ophius looks down and jumps into the wagon.
Okay, you do so.
And decides to sort through her body, trying to figure out why this target, other than the fact of clearly being who she was. Do I need to roll an investigation?
Yeah, investigation, sure. But what was the question?
I'm just searching her body for any information or anything that could potentially be what they were looking for and the reason that she was targeted so specifically, because he's going to bring the body back, but he wants to find it and make sure it doesn't fall off the body. He also would grab the weapon.
Sure. Okay. So your investigation, you're kind of looking her over. You can see clearly she's somebody of importance because of the clothing that she's wearing now that it's visible underneath the armor that was summoned onto her. You can clearly tell she's somebody of importance. You don't understand the culture of this nation well enough to know what position she held, just that she's something of a political figure. That's very obvious. However, after spending some time investigating her, eventually you kind of feel that where her face is and how her face feels doesn't line up. Where her shoulder is and where her shoulder actually is doesn't line up. You're reaching through her arm to grab her arm. And you kind of take a moment, focus yourself, and then look at her with clearer eyes. And now you can finally see through the illusion. The illusion itself staying translucent, but over is like a shell over her body. And you can see the actual form of the elven maiden that is before you. Maiden. What a goofy word. It implies some degree of innocence. Are they? Either way, they're invaders, and they need to be resolved. There she lies, dead, her true form, elongated, angular features, those large ears, pressed against the side of her face, that hair, the way it falls. All of her features are very similar to that of her Perrin form, the illusionary form that she takes. Just, that's a much more muted degree of what she actually is. It's just those features stretched out and sucked in. She's dead. So you're taking the sword? It's large, it's unwieldy, gonna be hard to carry with a dead body. But you take the sword at least and throw it out of the wagon. You grab the body.
No. Ophios would leave the body in there because he's gonna plan to climb out and go check on his comrade.
Okay, sure, her first.
Keeping her protected within the wagon itself.
She's, by the time you get out and you kind of look around for a moment, you see that she's in the middle of a fight with the other two.
I see what?
She's in the middle of a fight with the other two, a good distance from you.
Yeah. So he would shut her. He would take her out of there and run her off hidden somewhere before rejoining the fight.
Okay, so you would just kind of grab her and kind of hoist her. Luckily, these creatures aren't very heavy. She weighs, 100 pounds soaking wet with clothing on. You know what I mean? Like, these things are very light creatures. It's good because you're not particularly strong. So you grab her and you hoist her up, and over your head and through the wagon door, because the thing's sideways over your head. You kind of climb up, clamber up and everything yourself. Once you're up there, you can grab her and throw her over your, kind of like push her off of the wagon.
Yep.
And then, kick the sword off the wagon. Then you can go down and throw her body over your shoulder, have the sword under your other hand, and then go walking off and into the woods. Probably the direction that you came from, maybe 10 feet or so into the woods, but where you know where it is. And drop her body in there. Stick the sword on the ground, unless I'm mistaken.
Yep, and cover her in brush.
Okay.
Noticeable for that. Do I need to make a stealth check on that?
Please. If you're hearing random pops and explosions, it's because it's nearly the 4th of July and people like to celebrate.
Yeah, it's July 3rd right now. That's a terrible roll.
Yeah, it is an awful roll. You cover with poison ivy and go, this will work out great. So you start making your way... I'm just kidding. She's horribly hidden. You start making your way finally back towards your companion to join up. At first walking through the brush, then seeing, and then running to catch up. By the time you get there... My apologies. By the time you get there, the fight is already over. She's already won. The other two are dead. However, she's lying there, sprawled out on the ground, almost like spread eagle, sprawled out on the ground. She's naked because she had transformed beforehand. And when she transformed into the snake, she lost all of her clothing. And then she turned back into her humanoid form and grabbed up a weapon and then chased down after those others. And what they saw was a snake-headed naked chick running at them with a sword in their hands. What the Like, how scared am I supposed to be right now? Very, you're dead. So she fought it with them, and then defeated both of them. She killed them. However, she's lying on the ground, and she's got some fucking devastating wounds. Like, we're talking grievous wounds. You think if she doesn't receive some degree of aid, she's not going to be able to survive the night.
But she can speak, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ice. Seems you had a bit of struggles.
Well, these ones were trained so well. They were trained so well.
If not for the needs to carry this bodies back, I'd put you out of your miseries.
We both have our purpose, and mine is far from done.
He's gonna try and stabilize. Here's a medicine roll.
It's actually not that difficult for you to do because it's not like she's about to die. You have time, right?
Yeah.
So with your 10 right there, you're able to patch up her wounds well enough that she'll be okay. She'll make it through, but she's going to need time before she can really travel. She's going to need time to rest up. Yeah. Either way, you can at least help her. Either she can transform into a snake and you can pick her up, or you can carry her much heavier but human body and humanoid body and kind of like over your shoulder with her limping and make your way back to where that body is. You guys can grab the body and maybe move a bit further into the brush, but she needs at least the night to heal. She cannot travel back tonight. And let's be serious, you hoofed it for 6 hours before getting into a fight yourself. You're also a bit tired.
Ice, I'll leave you here. You can retrieve your stuffs in the mornings. But Ice will take the body and be hidden further away.
She nods and says, I'll come with you, but I can't in this form. As fast as I can, I'll follow your scent and your heat. I'll follow your scent and her heat, referring to the dead body. Mm-hmm. I will follow you. This stuff can be retrieved in the future. I don't need it.
All right. So he carries on with the body, and she can do her snake thing.
She's kind of like, almost like stretches out as she like falls towards the ground, and as she stretches out, her whole body becomes that of a medium-sized like python, a large snake. You know what I mean? Like almost like 6 feet in length, and or about 6 feet in length. And then she starts slithering along with you, but slower. Snakes can move very quickly, even over some decent distances. They can move very quickly, but she's moving slower. You're easily able to keep pace ahead of her, despite this heavy load that you have with you.
Basra wouldn't like that she's behind him, but so he would keep a watch. Or Ophios, Basra's a different person.
Who's Beishra?
Ophios would keep a watchful eye.
Bleep that out. It'll be like bloop. Well, yeah. Who's bloop?
Ophios keeps a watchful eye, always checking that she's behind him and is not planning to attack. He
Honestly,
doesn't trust anyone.
of course, and you can easily keep pace ahead of her without even trying. So you don't have to worry about it. Well, you worry about it, but it doesn't come to fruition. You make your way as far as you can, about an hour or so travel before you camp for the night. Next morning, you wake up, and she's lying there, and she's like, oh, back in her other form. I'm able to travel, but it's going to be slow. I'm very compromised right now. I need you to help me get back there. I'll need a few days to rest, but I need you to help me get back there.
What's in it for me? I have my tasks.
She narrows her eyes, flicks her tongue. I'll owe you a favor.
I likes that. So, Ophios will go and try and hide the body again.
Oh, no, you guys can travel with the body.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You travel for the entirety of today, and you make it most of the way back to the camp. But you can't get all the way there. It's just too long. You can't get all the way back. But you do travel most of the way there, and it's kind of like sometimes putting down the body, scouting about, getting up, going again, little rests here and there. She constantly has to rest. Get most of the way back, but you finally, whatever. You rest a second night. You're in great shape. You took no damage, resting a few days. She's doing okay. The third day, because the first day you fought, and the second day you traveled mostly back. The third day, it takes the greater part of the day for you to get all the way back there. God, she's moving so slow. But she's keeping up well enough. She's actually making it there. You honestly think she'll be able to heal. She'll be able to honor her end of the bargain, because she's going to heal well enough to get back. And she'll be able to survive all of this. You make your way back over to the entrance to your cave. Immediately, it smells wrong. Something smells wrong. Do you keep bringing the body with you as you make your way there?
I would stash the body and probably keep the weapon on me.
Okay. So you lie the body on the ground, stash it quickly, whatever. This isn't exactly a traveled road. And you have this big-ass sword with you as you go. As you're traveling with over there, eventually you get to the entrance to your home, to where you were raised. Soon you're about to be leaving this place, but this is still your home. The entrance has been clawed at. Something has dug out the entrance. It's stone, and something has dug out the entrance. It is not smooth, natural rock anymore, but something that you could easily fit your way through, as opposed to that you were doing beforehand, right? I imagine you make your way in.
He would peer inside first. He'd be cautious, having seen the claw marks in the opening. He'd try and look inside.
Look inside and do your reptilian kind of blink with your weird ass eyelids.
Yep.
And then your eyes kind of like narrow and shift to dark vision, because you have dark vision. And you can just see and you can smell inside the death.
All right, he's going to sneak in. Try to sneak in.
Roll stealth. You make your way in there and look about, and you see that there is what is it? Your inside the place, just dead kin of yours all over. So first of all, there's a dead one more or less as soon as you came into the entrance, right? Then make your way a little bit further, and you see a dead humanoid body. Gets that in a second. In the pit of the young, all of them are dead. Looking about, the three different caretakers, sorry, the other two caretakers of the young, because there was one over by the door, all dead. And then you go over and you look over to where the clutch is, to where all the eggs are, all smashed. There was like about 6 of them, all smashed. You're welcome to, of course, check out that body, the non-body. It's investigation.
Investigation check.
Looking down and examining the body, it takes a few moments, same as before, but eventually your eyes are able to see through this dark-skinned Perrin's guise, and eventually you see it's another one of them. The garb that they're wearing, this is clearly the garb of one of those soldiers that live in that town to the south. But it's dead now. This guard is dead. You can see the bite marks and everything all over it. There's a strange smell in its mouth. It smells strange. You're looking it over. What is that? Roll me an Arcana check. Somebody tried to pour a healing potion into their mouth. Someone tried to save this thing. Didn't. They poured it too late. It's a corpse. Roll me a perception check as you're looking about, or in another investigation as you're looking about the rest of the place. You're looking about, trying to smell, trying to look, trying to see if there's any of the clues of what had happened here beyond this individual, this one Perrin, who wasn't actually a Perrin, it was actually one of them in disguise. And you find nothing, no signs of anything else being here. Get it, Daelric.
Nice. Ka. Where's Ka?
You look about, you don't see Ka.
Is my partner in crime, what's her name? I forgot.
Sasha.
Is Sasha. They're gone.
She's kind of like coming into the cave. She was slow moving, coming into the cave as you're saying that. And she looks about. It's like the horror in her face. She looks around. She's trying to like take in the viscera. She doesn't take it anywhere near as well as you did when you first came in, because she's also in like a wounded state and everything, you know. So she doesn't take it anywhere near as well as you did. And she starts like making her own way around. So they're crouched back and like running around and checking things and.
There's no signs of Ka.
Oh, I rolled 9 no. Ka is gone. Ka's gone. He is not here. Perhaps he is responsible. I don't know. Perhaps there's an explanation. He was not one with task the days we were gone. It was the other two. They were to head south. They were to find another one. They were to find another and slay it while we slew this one. Gesturing towards the outside of the door. But there was a third. There was a third there. We didn't understand. We thought there was only two. And there was a third. But this one is at least dead as well. Is there a fourth? I don't know. But I know this. It's kind of like tongue lashing about and kind of like sniffing the air and smelling and tasting the air. I smell them. The Glinkin. The big ones. With the red skin. I smell it. The hobgoblin. I smell it about. But I smell sewers. I smell filth. It's one of the mushroom people. I smell them as well. I smell them here. Makes its way over. She makes her way over to where the clutch is. The clutch of eggs that was destroyed. It was one of the mushrooms that destroyed these eggs. I would bet every bit of my life on it. Every scale plucked from me. Bit by bit. Not really scales, more of skin, but it looks like scales. That's fine.
So she knows what all came in here.
Hobgoblin. I rolled a
Hobgoblin.
natty 20. I got a 26 in my perception.
Oh, so she knows it's a mushroom. She knows there was a hobgoblin and at least one other Perrin.
No. She's referring to this one. She doesn't know any other Perrin.
Okay, so it was a Perrin, and it was
The Perrin that there was the actual the elf in disguise as a Perrin.
right. I know.
And then there's a mushroom and a hobgoblin. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hobgoblins are like food, right?
They are if you're big enough or if they're small enough.
All right.
You know, hobgoblins are like 6 foot, no, a little bit under that, like 5'8", 5'7". You know, they're like good size goblins. Sometimes can be like 6.5 feet tall. So.
Okay, so they're bigger than a normal goblin.
Mm-hmm. Goblins. Burp.
We have our tasks. We must find Ka.
Yes. Let's find Ka. Let's get answers. And with that, why don't we finish? Why don't we finish here, Tyler?
Sure.
There you go. Beautiful. Wonderful. Love it. Love it so much. I'm excited to have you.
The dice were with me on the attacks and were against you big time.
Yeah, I literally have those attack rolls right here too. I can show you the clip of the other roll as well. So let me snippet that too. Cause
I struggled early on, but then I was hitting cleanly and rolling good damage.
well, either way, it was a lot of fun. Sorry. Seeing your character finally get started. Do you feel like you have a bit of a stronger foothold as what this character is supposed to be or anything like that, or no?
Yeah, he's stern focused. He doesn't trust and doesn't like anybody. He does, but it's just arrogance, absolute pure self-centered arrogance, focused on his task at hand, and he doesn't care. Emotions are very minimal to him. Yeah, he's upset that his entire home and colony is destroyed, but to anybody else's perspective, he seems unmoved. He's so task oriented. He's so focused and understands the mission at hand more so than anything else. It's what he was built for. It's what he was dealt with in his entire life. Emotion is an unnecessary thing. And for his task at hand, he is a blunt object. He is a killer. He is a slayer.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Beautiful. Well, it's going to be a short gap of time that happens between what took place in the story here and when it is that you meet the party. So I'm very excited about that. You were the second recording that was done for this, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be the second one in order. So let's see what order it actually comes out when I portray these for the actual initial, all the episode zeros and thrown together and who's where and what and how. But I'm really excited for when we get that together and we actually fucking get the party to meet and we start playing. That's very, very exciting. I will say really quickly, with this show, just like with the other Aurorum show, the Patreon structure is going to change slightly, so you'll be able to affect this party as well as if everybody has been affecting the other party, so you can benefit them. Patreon is only for benefiting the party. It is nothing negative. As always, the daddies will apply to this campaign as well as they apply to all other campaigns on the channel, but not until session 3. So no trump cards, but also no pool of luck until session 3. That's where it starts. Until then, it's just, leave it alone. Let them kind of like figure out their place together. Awesome. There's already talks from the other party. Like they've been saving up their daddies. They're gonna come in and they're gonna just drop trump cards like crazy on your third session. Like, let's wipe out the party. They call it regicide. We just got our kingdom. Wipe out the party.
So wait, the other cast? Oh my gosh.
Absolutely. They're like, because they don't know what the story is about. All they know is that their campaign is Kingmaker and then making a kingdom, and your campaign is regicide. And they're like, nope, not gonna happen. Nope, we're too hard for this shit. Fuck those people. So very likely they're watching this right now. So which is pretty funny. So I see you, Tesh. I see you.
Tesh would be the one. He'd be like, oh crap, we're dealing with this.
Awesome. All right, Tyler, who are you? How can we find you?
I'm Tyler Scheid. You can find me on all social media and on Twitch as Apocalypto_12. That's APOCALYPTO_12. I do a variety of different stuff on Twitch, play games, definitely do a lot of talking and chatting stuff. And I'm also here with Scott on Wednesdays over on the Lost Initiative show as Baishra, the rogue who somehow managed to die and is now back alive, but now he's a spy. It's a mess. But definitely go and check that out. If you aren't up to date on that, check out the VODs. Really a fun time. And who knows? Maybe there's some other stuff in the works, but I'm excited to be here and be a part of this.
Awesome. All right, everybody, thank you so much. There's, again, 3 of these. If this isn't the last one, there will be one more. All right, see y'all soon. Bye-bye.